Hello and welcome back to Vintage Disney here on Brian's Things That Are Cool. It's time once again to look back on my favorite channel as a kid. This is Return of the Disney Channel. There was so much great content produced for the Disney Channel in the 80s and 90s that making a third Disney Channel episode only seemed right. And as I've said before, this was a time when there was so much variety and creativity to tune in on. It wasn't programming meant for only one demographic, but entertainment for everyone. Some of it fondly remembered, some of it obscure and deserving of another look. We'll start this trip back to the past with a visit to our neighbors to the north. This is Avonlea. Avonlea ran from March 5th, 1990 to March 31st, 1996, and was produced for the Disney Channel by Canadian company Sullivan Films. Avonlea was adapted from the work of author Lucy Maud Montgomery, famous for the Anne of Green Gables series. Avonlea follows a young girl named Sarah Stanley, who's been sent to live with relatives in early 20th century Canada. Creator Kevin Sullivan aimed to put the series in the same continuity as his earlier Lucy Maud Montgomery adaptations, 1985's Anne of Green Gables and its 1987 sequel. The series' looser adaptation of its source material allowed most of Montgomery's character to be present throughout. Avonlea was beautifully shot in Uxbridge, Ontario, the former home of Lucy Maud Montgomery. The gorgeous setting and vibrant colors throughout make you want to visit, or even live there, much in the way Peter Jackson did for New Zealand with his Lord of the Rings trilogy. It was also nice to see so many familiar faces show up in guest star roles, like Christopher Lloyd, Eugene Levy, Ryan Gosling at the same time he was a Mouseketeer, and even my boyhood hero, Superman himself, Christopher Reeves. With its simplistic family-friendly feel, stunning cinematography, and music so whimsical, it makes you forget the troubles of the world and get wrapped up in memories of better times.
Stop!
It's not hard to see why this four-time Emmy winner had everyone on the road to Avonlea. Now we move on to a staple of 80s television, the game show. This is Teen Win Loser Draw. Teen Win Loser Draw ran from April 29, 1989 to September 26, 1992, and was shot at Disney's MGM Studio theme park in Walt Disney World. The show was a kids' version of Win Loser Draw, which ran on NBC. Mark Price, Skippy on Family Ties, was our host as two teams of three kids, boys versus girls, with one member of each team being a celebrity, faced off on a set of what was supposed to represent Mark Price's driveway, but looked more like the court in Trey Parker and Matt Stone's basketball.
Hey, Smits, you want to see a scary face? Yeah! What, dude?
The speed round, where each player had 90 seconds to draw as many words as they could, was usually a mess of scribbles that somehow the teams were able to decipher. Sometimes the drawings would look, rather suggestive. Check out Leonardo DiCaprio's drawing of what I can only assume was put to greater use in Titanic. At the recording of this video, there are plans to reboot the series. We can only hope it can match the frantic pace and fun of the original Teen Win Loser Draw. Now let's reach deep into the Disney vault, way back in the obscure section. This is The Secret of Lost Creek. The Secret of Lost Creek was a serial that ran on the 1989 season of the Mickey Mouse Club.
We'll be showing you the next episode of our club movie, The Secret of Lost Creek. We'll be answering some more of your mouse mail.
A roughly 8-minute segment was shown towards the end of each episode between October 30th to December 1st, 1989. Like one of the serials from the original Mickey Mouse Club from the 50s, the Hardy Boys, Lost Creek follows two siblings on an adventure to solve a mystery. This time around, we meet Jeannie Fogel and her younger brother Robert, who are forced to stay with their grandparents in the town of Lost Creek. When Jeannie finds out about a lost treasure, the siblings find themselves wrapped up in an illegal mining plot which somehow involves Bigfoot. Jeannie is played by a pre-90210 Shannon Doherty, and it was fun for me to see Dabbs Greer as Grandpa. Earlier in his career, Dabbs was in a great mystery-tinged episode of the George Reeves Superman TV series from the 1950s. Criminally, Lost Creek has fallen into obscurity. But it's a great kids' whodunit that actually presents legitimate danger for the kid characters. That said, to watch the series involves a bit of work, including reading subtitles for a few installments, apparently it's huge in Germany, and searching old episodes of the Mickey Mouse Club. But if you don't mind the headache, get searching and have a good time. Come on, Disney. This deserves to be on Disney+.
A special Disney Channel music break from Walt Disney Records.
Disney music. There's a few things I've bought over the years that I've really enjoyed, especially Roger Miller's soundtrack to Robin Hood. But as far as the Disney Channel music videos from back in the day, I love seeing them, but I just can't imagine rocking out to them in my car. But those songs must have had something, because I can still remember them. Bobby McFerrin, just off his mega #1 hit, Don't Worry, Be Happy, brought his unique a cappella style to the Disney Channel with Baby. A cute song with McFerrin's usual laid-back style that's not as divisive as his Grammy winner, and one to check out if you're in the mood for something a little bit different. Man Who Ran Away with the Moon by Norman Foote comes to us from his 1992 album, If the Shoe Fits. This is the one song I remember that I've come close to buying as an adult. The video and concept of the song always struck me as extremely creative, and the song is catchy as hell. It's a great nursery rhyme-like story about a man who steals the moon. Norman Foote was a Canadian songwriter and comedian with a lot of talent. I only wish I had kids so I could introduce them to this type of imaginative storytelling, and in the case of the video, really fun imagery. DTV was a series of music videos created in 1984 combining popular music and footage from classic Disney films and movies. The series came to fruition after MTV became popular, and its name was even inspired by MTV. 60 episodes were created, 4 videos each, with 240 music videos in all. But the way I remember it was when they were shown individually as filler material between other programs. I especially remember the Halloween videos, like Rockwell's Somebody's Watching Me. I still see Disney characters when I hear this song. Just some great rock and roll, set against some of those great vintage cartoons that I would watch in full on Mousetracks. Always important to introduce kids to the classics. I think that part of the reason that I'm a Disney buff is that when I was a kid, my family went to Walt Disney World every year. There are rides and attractions that are gone, and there are some that are still there. Disney parks have changed over the years and have been priced out of my reach, but Disney memories remain. In the early 90s, I was kept up to date with all of the new attractions through Walt Disney World Inside Out. Originally hosted by Scott Harriott, the show ran from 1994 to 1997 and featured footage of upcoming attractions, fan favorites, and segments with celebrities. In fact, I was there around the time of the 1994 episode featuring the building of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
That's MGM there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is MGM.
Can't you turn it a little bit this way? You can see the roof of the Chinese theater.
A really good show.
Where?
Very nice.
Right there. You see past the hotel that's being built?
Oh yeah, that's the roof of the, yeah, that's the roof of the,
You recognize it, don't you?
When the Tower of Terror was completed, the late great Gilbert Gottfried paid a visit to Inside Out's Halloween episode to give his take on the attraction.
Now I know know what happened to those 5 people. You see, they all got in the elevator. The elevator went all the way up to the top floor, the very top. That's 13 stories. 13 stories high, all the way up there. And then what happens? Lightning hits the tower. It smacks into the tower, thus plunging the elevator down all the way into oblivion, where the elevator smashed into nothingness and just an unrecognizable goop, because it's disgusting. Boy, that must have been terrifying.
Rest in peace, Mr. Gottfried. Well, as we reach the end of the day, it's time for some classic live-action Disney films. The Misadventures of Merlin Jones, released in January of 1964 and was directed by Disney regular Robert Stevenson. Merlin Jones stars Tommy Kirk in the title role. Merlin is a brainy college kid whose experiments constantly get him into trouble, much to the dismay of his girlfriend, played by Annette Funicello. When looking back on the 60s era live-action Disney films, you'll often find that they were filmed as television episodes first, then edited together and released to theaters. Sometimes it worked, like Johnny Tremaine. The Misadventures of Merlin Jones, while all goofy fun, is painfully obvious that it's 2 unconnected episodes of a proposed series loosely stitched together with a brief transition scene. The film feels like a TV show, and nowhere is that more clear than its low-budget feel. It has its problems, but with the type of wacky hijinks and likable cast, it's enjoyable to watch. Audiences thought so too, as the film grossed $4 million, and the next year saw a sequel, 1965's The Monkey's Uncle. Robert Stevenson returns as the director, as does all of the original cast. This would be the last Disney film for Tommy Kirk. 2 major scandals hit, which, out of respect for Mr. Kirk, I won't get into here, which caused him to not only get fired from John Wayne's The Sons of Katie Elder, but Disney was forced to terminate his contract out of protection. But Walt quickly rehired him just to film Monkey's Uncle. Plot and structure-wise, it's nearly identical to Merlin Jones. 2 30-minute TV shows loosely glued together with a brief transition scene. But this time around, there's a chimp. Offset, the chimp had a crush on Tommy Kirk and was jealous of Annette. Reportedly, the chimp also loved Walt and would spend breaks in filming sitting on his lap. The standout in this film is the theme song performed here by Annette and in their very first film appearance, the Beach Boys. Neither are great films, but they're fun ways to pass the time. Just for the music, I probably like Monkey's Uncle a little more. What more can you say but...
I love the monkey's uncle and I'm mad about his chimpanzee.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my 3rd installment of my tribute to the Disney Channel. If you want to be kept up to date as to when I release a new video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And if you really want to be notified, hit that bell as well. I'm Brian, and I'll see you next time.